Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled you're tuning in today, because we're about to go on a journey that is going to completely upend what you think you know about one of the most famous travel destinations on the planet. I mean, when you hear the Maldives, you probably instantly picture endless blue water, pristine overwater villas, white sand, and just sheer isolated luxury. But today, our mission is to shatter that luxury resort illusion. We are bypassing the manicured beaches and heading straight into the real, intensely flavorful, and super densely packed streets of Malé City to experience the true culinary heart of the Maldives. Look at the sheer contrast here. On one side, we have the resort myth. You know, the classic billionaire fantasy. Out on those private islands, the menus are loaded with completely imported food, all catering to a sparsely populated, highly curated environment. But on the other side, we have the reality of Malé City. This is where the Maldivian people actually live and work and eat. The streets are bustling, the city living is hyper-dense, and most importantly for us today, the food is hyper-local. We're trading the expensive, imported resort buffets for the vibrant, authentic reality of the mainland.
And when I say hyper-dense, I really mean it. Look at this staggering number, 46,000. That is the amount of people living per square mile in Malé City. It literally makes it one of the most densely populated cities in the entire world. So the crucial point is this: because every single square inch of this island has a purpose and is primarily covered in buildings, there is essentially zero space for agriculture. This geographic reality forces a really profound culinary reality. The people here rely almost entirely on the ocean and a massive, complex supply chain just for their survival.
Which brings us to, honestly, the most important thing you're gonna learn today. Let's call it the golden rule of Maldivian food. Basically, if you're ever wandering the streets of Malé City, looking at a dish and you don't know what it is, well, it's tuna, it's coconut, or it's both. We're gonna see this recurring rule of two pop up constantly throughout this explainer. It's practically a running joke, but it beautifully illustrates how you can build an entire complex national cuisine on the back of just two incredibly versatile, locally abundant ingredients.
Section 1. The local Maldivian breakfast, starting the day with fire.
So, to kick off our chronological culinary tour, we are stepping into a place called Cafe Easy. It's this tiny, dark, highly local spot where you literally might need your phone's flashlight just to see the menu clearly. But hey, what they lack in ambience, they completely make up with an incredible morning feast that costs just $1.60. The star of this feast is masuni. This traditional breakfast mashup perfectly executes our golden rule. It brings together tuna, generous coconut shavings, raw onions, and here's the kicker: fiery, fresh Scotch bonnet chilies. Let me tell you, the Scotch bonnet has this bright, fresh flavor, but my goodness, the locals here literally breathe fire from 8 a.m. because of this dish. It will absolutely wake you up faster than any cup of coffee. But you can't have breakfast without this next crucial element. Enter rihakuru, the beloved national condiment of the Maldives. It's an intensely salty, bold, and smoky fish paste that's reduced down over a really long period of time. Now, because masuninias can be slightly dry and rihakuru is so incredibly intense, they are both scooped up and perfectly balanced using huni roshi. Huni roshi is a dense, flat bread looking almost exactly like a Mexican tortilla, but it's made from wheat flour compressed with, you guessed it, more coconut shavings. You just eat this entire meal with your hands, using the bread as your edible glove.
Section 2. Markets and street snacks, sourcing the island's unique flavors.
You know, to truly understand a food culture, you have to look at its raw ingredients. So we're moving from the dark, quiet cafes into the chaotic, vibrant energy of the local supply chain. That means hitting the biggest fish and dry markets in the Maldives to see exactly where all these unique flavors are coming from before they ever hit a plate. First up is the fish market, and specifically the yellowfin tuna. Guys, it is essentially the beef of the sea. That is exactly how it's treated here. Tuna is the primary protein of the island. It's practically their cattle. But instead of corralling them into pens, local fishermen corral them into nets and bring them directly to the docks. What's absolutely mind-blowing here is the scale and the cost. Locals are expertly skinning and carving up massive 3-kilogram yellowfin tunas right in front of you. And a fish that size costs less than $7. It's incredibly fresh and insanely affordable.
Right next door is the dry market, and this place brilliantly illustrates how they manage that total lack of agricultural space we talked about earlier. All of this hyperlocal produce is grown on neighboring islands and ferried in by boat, and the discoveries here are just bizarre and wonderful. We're talking short, tiny bananas, small-sized breadfruit, passion fruit that looks incredibly wrinkly but it's just bursting with flavor inside, and literally the world's tiniest, sweetest mangoes. It's a genuine wonder to see this much variety packed into such a small market space.
But the most fascinating discovery in the market has got to be this, the screw pine.
It's a gigantic, highly complicated, alien-looking fruit that genuinely looks like it belongs on the fictional planet of Pandora. To even eat it, a local expert actually has to shave off its thick, brittle outer layers for you. And the flavor profile? It's wild. It has a slightly mealy apple texture, but then every once in a while you get a bite with a very faint, spicy hint of raw garlic. It is a completely unique, one-of-a-kind sensory experience.
Moving on to the street snacks, we find the Adu Bendi. At first glance, this sweet snack looks exactly like a thick cigar, and oddly enough, the outside even smells faintly of tobacco. But as those protective outer coconut leaves are peeled away, you find a chewy stick inside. And yep, going right back to our golden rule, the inside is made entirely of coconut. Despite looking quite hard on the outside, this sweet coconut-packed snack actually melts right on your tongue.
As the day progresses, we hit Bizarro Cafe, a bustling 24-hour hotspot that is absolutely packed for lunch. This is where you see the sheer creativity locals apply to their staple ingredients. Here, you can grab fried tuna balls packed with veggies and heavy spices. But the real surprise is dessert. Picture this, a soft, gooey, incredibly sweet banana and cracker treat. Now, how on earth do you balance something that sweet in the Maldives? You serve it with a literal side of smoked tuna. I'm not kidding. Even dessert comes with a piece of fish to save the day if the sugar gets to be too much.
Section 3. Authentic home-cooked classics, the heart of Maldivian cuisine.
Shifting away from the street food stalls, we head to a place aptly named Maldives Kitchen. Because the Maldives sits right in the middle of the Indian Ocean, centuries of passing trade ships have brought endless outside influences. Because of this, locals will tell you that true authenticity isn't found in a restaurant, it's found in home-cooked, generations-old mother-in-law recipes. And there is no better example of a home-cooked classic than Maldivian tuna curry. The culinary construction here is brilliant. First, they take thin slices of fresh tuna and slather them in a vibrant paste made of garlic, turmeric, curry leaves, cumin, and chilies. Second, they roll those tuna slices up and tie them tightly with a strip of pandan leaf, almost like tying a shoe. Finally, these neat little bundles are simmered in a rich bath of coconut cream, sweating onions, and, naturally, half a Scotch bonnet pepper for that local heat. The resulting dish is nothing short of aromatic brilliance. When you taste it, you first get all those rich aromatics and the beautiful creaminess of the coconut. But then, as this quote beautifully captures, the heat comes in like a thief in the night. It's quiet, it's subtle, but it builds. It just creeps up from behind the creaminess. It's this almost medicinal, long-opening spice that perfectly complements the meaty, perfectly cooked tuna bundles.
Following the curry, we have garudia, which functions almost like a Maldivian bibimbap. It's a completely customizable bowl. You start with a base of rice and pour over a clear tuna broth. Then you mix in both boiled and fried tuna for texture, along with raw perennial kale, crispy shallots, fresh lime juice, and a dollop of that intense rihakuru fish paste we saw at breakfast. The magic here is the mix. Combining these bright, citrusy, spicy, and salty flavors cuts right through the heaviness, perfectly showcasing just how versatile tuna can really be.
Section 4. A local beach BBQ, grilling under the stars. To wind down our chronological explainer, we are leaving the dense city streets and heading out to a chill public beach. This is where locals go to hang out, relax, and fire up makeshift charcoal grills right on the sand to cook up the very octopus and tuna we saw being negotiated for back at the market earlier today. But obviously, you can't just throw raw seafood on a beach grill. It needs a marinade. Enter La Numerous. If you love Korean gochujang, consider this your new obsession. La Numerous is a vibrant floral paste made primarily from salt, lemon, and distinct local chilies. It gets slathered generously over the seafood before it ever hits the charcoal. It has this incredible fresh zip, zing, and zang that completely elevates the smoky flavor of the grill.
So, how did that beach BBQ turn out? Let's check out the final tasting notes. On one side, we had the octopus, which sat in the low numerous longer. It came out sour, very spicy, and perfectly marinated. Just an incredible salty flavor combination. On the other side, the tuna. Cooked medium well over the makeshift grill, it remained perfectly juicy on the inside while sporting a thick, heavily charred chili lemon crust on the outside. It proves beyond a shadow of a doubt that you do not need a 5-star resort kitchen to experience world-class, complex culinary execution. Which brings us to a really provocative question I want to leave you with today. We've seen the 46,000 people per square mile. We've tasted the fiery Scotch bonnets, the alien-looking fruits, the medicinal curries, and the sheer endless ingenuity of utilizing tuna and coconut. So if this vibrant,
chaotic, and intensely flavorful reality is the real Maldives, does the quiet, imported luxury of the secluded resort still seem like the best way to experience this country? I hope this explainer has left you as hungry as I am to always seek out the authentic side of the world's most famous destinations. Thanks so much for learning with me today, and keep exploring.